Hello everyone, welcome to episode 83 of Chatting with Anthony. Today's episode, I'm going to ask the question, is Christian music evil? No, inherently no. How could it inherently be evil? It is, when I say Christian music, I'm not talking about music from people who profess Christ. I'm talking about actual music that incorporates, that is centered by, where God is the center of the music. There we go. Right? Like, I like a lot of Christian hip hop. And there's a lot of Christian hip hop that I really like listening to, where, if I'm being honest, God is not the main focus of the song. There might be a theme going on, and it ties back into God, and you could argue God is the focus of that still. But like, music, how do I say this? Music through instruments and through words is not inherently evil, but what you do with it is. Obviously, I don't believe there's a way to play music in a certain manner in terms of like instruments that would be considered wicked or evil. Right? They're just instruments. If you're doing it to cast some kind of spell, the spell you're casting with the music is what's evil. And the music is made evil in proxy. But you can't just, like, I don't believe that there's like a certain way to strum the guitar that inherently is gonna summon demonic beings. Like, you have to have something else going on. You got like a Ouija board in the background or something, right? Like, it's just a tool. It's a blank canvas. It's like, oh, this pasta sucks. It's boiled in water without salt, and you added nothing to it. Like, what do you think it was gonna taste like? That's basically what instruments are and what music is, until you ascribe value to it, until you add to it. So I guess what I'm saying is, there is a lot of music where God might not be the focus, God might be talked about, and to be honest, God might only be brought up because of the reputation of them being a quote-unquote Christian. I still enjoy the music, right? Like, you can make clean rap music that talks about God a little bit, and still have it be good. I enjoy a lot of people who make that kind of music. Like, I would argue, I've talked to him before, I love Aha Gazelle's music. A lot of his music recently hasn't been directly about God, but it incorporates God and about the things that God has given him and how he tries to use these things as tools, essentially because he wants to glorify God, but he's also trying to enjoy what he has achieved, enjoy what he believes God has given him. And that's a great thing, really. And I would argue it's it's music for Christians, but again, when I say Christian music, I'm more so referring to like what you hear on CCM radio. And the lines can be blurred, like "Trust in You" by Lauren Daigle. I believe that song. I don't know if this is "Trust in You," but it's like, you say I am loved when I am feeling weak. You say I'm loved when I don't remember. You say I'm strong when I'm feeling weak. And there's no mention of God or Jesus. Now, that is what the song is about. I believe she confirmed it. But I mean, based on every other song in the album, I'm going to assume that's what she's talking about. Because I didn't listen to the whole album. But there are plenty of songs on the album directly talking about Jesus, giving him glory and edifying him. And I know she's a bit of a controversial figure now because she kind of took that neutral stance on LGBTQ. In all fairness to her, that was like 7-8 years ago. People change. So give her room for that. But I don't want to get into a whole video. Like, are Christian artists really Christian? We can do that. I actually should do that. But that's a whole nother topic. And there's a whole lot of assuming you have to do, right? Like, some more egregious examples, like, I really hope I'm wrong with this, but like some people like Kirk Franklin really are kind of looking more like a wolf than anything else as of recently. But I pray that I'm wrong in that assessment. Anyways, back to the topic. The music points to God. It edifies him. It gives him glory. The industry is where the Christian music industry. There we go. The Christian music industry is evil because it's basically the equivalent to the music industry if you slap a fish or a dove on it. So they're not probably going to per se do the rituals the evil rituals that they do in the secular music industry. However, they're definitely going to ask you to compromise your moral a little bit because you have to understand something. Business is business. That is what this is. Don't get mad at the duck that quacks. Get mad at the duck that attacks the ducks. There you go. That's a good analogy. An industry is literally just a collection of businesses that are related, right? The Christian music industry is comprised of, I guess you could view the artists as businesses. To an extent they are. They have their own brands, they have their own merch, etc., etc. But the goal of the industry is to make money, and it's a hub for these people to collect together, and the Christians in the music industry can choose to use it for the glory of God or to edify themselves with the name of God. Again, the lines can be a little bit blurry. Like if you look at somebody like For King and Country, a lot of people are saying that they've fallen away. I don't know. Their music's still about God. They do a lot of performances that are, how do I say this? It's not exactly like a worship service as much as it is like a musical performance, but that doesn't make it inherently evil. It's just music. It's entertainment. So stop getting mad at people for that. However, I think if I remember correctly, they went and performed at Osteen's church. And like during a service. It wasn't just like held at like a Friday night concert held at his church. It was a literal service that they played at. And that's worrying to me. Because it's like, what are you doing with him? Why are you there? Don't give me the argument of I'm there to be a light. Like, when you stand with them, people are gonna, like, it gives the wrong message, right? That's basically what I'm trying to say. But again, the industry would allow corruption. I'm not even gonna go as far as to call them collaborating with Osteen corruption, just because you get very nitpicky about certain things. Like, I don't even want to go into all that. But again, you have to be careful with how things are interpreted. You have to factor in, as much as you shouldn't care what others think, you do have to factor in that people look up to you. You have a power. You're in a position of power. But I'll close with this in regards to why I believe people think Christian music is evil. Music can be laced with demons, demonic forces. So I'm going to urge you to be careful. Cardi B, I think, talks about it. She literally allows demons to, like, permeate through, I think it was a song that she had. She basically, like, welcomed spirits, like essentially the equivalent to like casting a spell over your song and then sending it out for the masses to hear. Not just people who put it on themselves, but they literally gets played on the radio. So essentially you're like sending the demons, it's like an air raid, if you will. So I understand where people are coming from, and I think it should be talked about more. But I would just say be careful when it comes to being, not that you shouldn't be overly cautious, but be careful when you're going to lead others in being overly cautious, because you can accidentally enable them to be, or even intentionally if you really wanted to, but you can enable them to be judgmental, and that just gets messy. So that's all I have for this episode. You bozo stay safe, God bless, and I'll see you in the next one.